Theater, people who live in this building understandably frightened, terrified. Many of them are still inside being interviewed by police about what they saw and what they heard as police pull together the information. People who live several floors away, above and below the 8th floor, heard the gunfire and a couple of minutes later looked out their windows and saw that sight of Atlanta police officers running with the wounded officer, carrying him to safety, because at that moment they weren't sure if there might have been a second gunman. Police and canines went up and down every single floor of this building throughout the afternoon just to make sure it was clear. One person told me he just moved here 7 months ago. And I asked him, what are you going to do now? He said, well, this is Atlanta. This is just Atlanta. You have to understand it. But he said, I'm not accepting it. I'm going to look for another place to live. I said, where do you go to get away from this anymore these days? He said he just didn't know, but he can't live here. So police continuing to work this scene, to interview witnesses, and pull together what they can find out about what led up to this shooting. Back to you.
All right, John Sherrick, thank you. We want to go to Brittany Klein-Peter live at Grady Hospital right now, where the injured officer is being treated. Brittany, it has been an emotional scene there with fellow officers and his family arriving over the past few hours to show their support. What's going on right now?
Here inside the emergency room. Emotional for sure, Sheba. We've been here in the last 3 hours and we've seen tears, we've seen hugs, but a lot of communal support as well. Officers showing up in droves this afternoon. We've seen deputies with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, Georgia State Patrol, GBI, and even the DeKalb County Sheriff came out here today. Police vehicles really just lining the roadways surrounding the hospital's emergency entrance. But what's been the most striking really has been the bond between the Atlanta police officers. Officers crying in each other's arms. We saw that just a little while ago. Others just holding one another. And across departments, officers gathered in groups consoling each other outside of the hospital. The unity among this department was really on display in this heartbreaking way today. But we are still out here. Things are starting to clear out. There's still about a dozen officers kind of making their way in and out of the hospital. Coming up at 5:30, though, officers are expected to make an updated statement, and we'll bring that to you both on air and online.
All right. Brittany, thanks a lot. Again, we don't know the officer's name. He is in stable condition. Now to traffic tracker Crash Clark, who's here to help you get around the streets that are still blocked because of the shooting. So this is the area between North Avenue, around 4th Street, right?
Right around 4th and 5th Street, exactly, Cheryl. And there's no word when they're going to reopen Peachtree. So as you can imagine, as we get deeper into an already busy rush hour, things are just going to get worse for commuters trying to get around this area. Sky Tracker right on top of the scene here on Peachtree at 5th Street. You can see the yellow tape out. Now, police are halting vehicular traffic, but they are allowing pedestrians to walk through, possibly people that live in adjacent apartments. But let's get you around this. As you can see, a very active rush hour through the whole city. But we'll take you right down to the floor level here as we use our 3D technology. Again, the police activity, solace on Peachtree Apartments, Peachtree Street between 3rd and 4th. That's the main center of activity. But as we pull out a little bit, we can see where it is shut down between 5th Street and North Avenue. Again, as we've been mentioning, right near the Fox Theater. The good news for commuters, we've got plenty of ways around this. For southbound alternates heading from Midtown towards downtown, take the connector, but know one thing, it is jammed. A lot of folks have been using that to escape a huge wreck on the top end perimeter. Spring Street and Juniper Street will also carry you in the southbound direction only. Northbound alternates, you could use the connector northbound. It's a much better bet on the northbound side. West Peachtree, Piedmont, or even William Street. But remember, if you use William Street, that will put you exclusively on 75 northbound. And again, we show you the scene here as we continue to watch the police activity along Peachtree Street shut down between 5th and North Avenue. Cheryl, back to you.
And that's a lot of activity there, Crash, because we've got Homeland Security, GBI, Georgia State Patrol, a lot of agencies. It's going to be jammed up for a while. Thank you for the alternates. That's so helpful. Again, we're expecting an update in about 30 minutes from police at Grady Hospital. We will carry it live for you on air. Also, stream it on 11alive.com, where we will be posting updates throughout the night as we get new information coming in. More breaking news that we're following for you tonight. Former Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld has died. His family says he passed away surrounded by loved ones in New Mexico. Rumsfeld began his career in public service at the age of 30 when he was elected to Congress. He went on to serve 4 presidents: Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan, and George W. Bush. He oversaw Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan after the 9/11 September 11 attack and the Iraq War in 2003. Donald Rumsfeld was 88 years old.
It is the last day of June. The holiday weekend is almost upon us. Chris Holcomb, how's it looking outside right now? And more importantly, does the weekend forecast still look promising?
Yeah, it does. And we've just got to get through some of these showers that we're tracking today. We'll have some more tomorrow afternoon, and then a better coverage of rain coming in on Friday. Right now in Atlanta, we are fine, but we do have some of those isolated showers that have been popping up here in our area. And the ones that are popping up have some heavy rain with them and thunder and lightning. In fact, if you go up 75 into Cobb County here, just south of Kennesaw, we had a good shower there with heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. Weakening a little bit, but we still have some of that heavier rain just to the west of Marietta. This is drifting over toward the west. Also in southern Floyd County, south of Rome, right there in the northern parts of Polk County, north of Cedartown, another area cluster of heavy rain with a lot of thunder and lightning. And here over in Athens, this is a good shower coming down right now over northern Clark County and the southern parts of Jackson County. More moisture down to the south. A lot of this is going to be falling apart tonight. We do think our rain chances will diminish through the evening hours. This is a live look in Athens. You see the raindrops on the lens and the wet pavement there. Through the evening tonight, things start calming down a little bit more. Still the risk for some isolated showers. More of those will develop later tomorrow, and we will talk more about that front passing through for the weekend, improving things for the holiday. More on that in just a bit.
All right, we love improvement, Chris. Thank you so much. The Hawks continue their magical run. Who knows when it will end? The Eastern Conference Final Series is now tied 2 games apiece after Atlanta beat Milwaukee by 22 last night at State Farm Arena, and they did it entirely without superstar point guard Trae Young. Jeff Hullinger joining us now in studio. Jeff, how in the world did the Hawks pull that off last night without Trae Young?
I'm not smart enough to understand that, but I'm going to try anyway. Interim head coach Nate McMillan has been saying all along that this team is capable of doing some really good stuff as they get ready for Bogdanovich to start shooting well again. And last night, both he and Lou Williams carried the load in the absence of the great star Trae Young. So Lou Williams is the pride of South Gwinnett High School. You know that. He scored a team-high 21 points in his first career postseason game. Bogdanovich was right behind him with 20, and Cam Reddish was superb defensively in just his second game back, while also dropping 12 points off the bench. This magical run, and it is that, continues to shock everybody who follows the NBA. And now Nate McMillan has asked if he ever sits back to think about this improbable run that they are currently embarked upon.
I know we're on a special run, but I haven't really thought too much about that, because we are still on this run. I think when all of this is over, and whenever that may be, and hopefully that's, that's a ways down the road, you sit back and you'll think about all of that. But right now, no, it's just the focus is on the next game.
So here we go. The Hawks' attention will shift to Game 5 in Milwaukee tomorrow. No update on Trae Young or Clint Capella, who got elbowed in the eye. As for the Bucks, we will see what happens. Now, there are great issues about Giannis about sustaining that hyperextended left knee in Game 4. He will be listed as doubtful for Game 5, but you wonder if he can go at all. And look, the Bucks are a team without him not capable of winning. That's what I believe. Conversely, the Hawks without Trae Young have shown they are indeed capable of getting it done. So we'll see. I like the Hawks' chances, and I know that's some boosterism and home cooking here, but I really believe it.
I love home cooking. Keep it going. Jeff, thanks so much. All right, go Hawks. All right, still to come, actor and comedian Bill Cosby out of jail tonight. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturning his sexual assault conviction today. We'll explain why next.
A jury deliberating in the case of 3 teens accused of killing a Hall County deputy. We're going to take a look at what's next for the jury.
Job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. Stream live newscasts and watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable, yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark.
We are staying on top of breaking news. At this hour, an Atlanta police officer is in stable condition after being shot in the face inside a Midtown apartment building just hours ago. We're told he is able to talk to family members and police from his hospital bed. Police telling us the injured officer and another officer had been responding to a shots fired call around 1 this afternoon inside the Solace at Peachtree Apartments. They say as soon as the two officers stepped off the elevator on the 8th floor, they were ambushed by gunfire. Officers did return fire, shooting and killing the suspect. We are expecting an update on the officer's condition at 5:30. When that happens, we'll bring it to you live. You can also find the latest developments on this story online at 11alive.com.
New at 5, after spending nearly 3 years behind bars, comedian Bill Cosby is out of prison tonight. Cosby joining his attorneys less than an hour ago as they talked about his release. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturning his sexual assault conviction. It's a decision that came down to a technicality. 11 Alive's Joe Ripley spoke with a legal expert to break it all down.
Judged, tried, convicted, and sentenced on sexual assault charges, famed comedian and actor Bill Cosby is walking free. A technicality of sorts got him out of prison. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania overturned his conviction.
It only means that that first DA made a critical mistake in agreeing not to prosecute Cosby, and it's only fair that Cosby shouldn't be prosecuted when they told him they weren't going to do it.
Legal expert Paige Pate explains, in a split judgment, the court ruled that Cosby's due process rights were violated when he was charged and convicted. Cosby had previously made an agreement with prosecutors that he could not be charged in the very case that landed him in prison.
There is effectively no other appeal. I believe he was released from prison today, and he's not going back, at least not in Pennsylvania.
In 2018, Cosby was sentenced to up to 10 years in prison for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constant at his home 14 years ago. Several other women accused the former actor of similar sexual assaults, but Cosby cannot be tried again in the state of Pennsylvania. He donated millions of dollars to Spelman College and Morehouse School of Medicine here in Atlanta, but in 2015 ties severed. Spelman suspended Cosby's professorship after he was accused of sexual assault, and the college said it returned the money back to the Cosby Family Foundation. And while this decision could prove challenging for other sexual assault victims, Pate says the 83-year-old's legal saga is over for now.
It doesn't in any way mean that Bill Cosby did not commit the criminal acts he was charged with. It doesn't in any way undercut the credibility of the victims who came forward. This does not mean that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court doesn't believe them.
One of the victims who came forward told NBC it feels like a gut punch. But tonight, Felicia Rashad is speaking out about Cosby's release in his defense. She's been one of his supporters, tweeting, "Finally, a terrible wrong is righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected." To read more about why the conviction was overturned, we have an in-depth story for you on 11alive.com.
The fate of 3 teenagers accused of shooting and killing a Hall County deputy is now in the hands of a jury. It is one of the top stories we're following tonight. The jury spending a week listening to both sides of the case, hearing from witnesses and watching the chilling video from Deputy Nicholas Dixon's body camera. The most surprising moment coming yesterday when Hector Garcia Solis, the teen accused of firing the fatal shot, confessed on the stand. During closing arguments today, the state argued that though Solis confessed, all 3 teens should be convicted. The jury has been deliberating for the past 2.5 hours. When a verdict comes in, we'll bring it to you on air and online. Funeral arrangements for Gainesville firefighter Chandler Patterson have now been confirmed. A celebration of life service will be held on Friday at 2 p.m. at Rabun County High School. The Rabun County Sheriff's Office is expected to lead a procession for Patterson. He was killed on Lake Tugelo last weekend. The DNR says he fell off a boat, and when the driver of the boat went back to get him, it may have run him over. He was out there tubing at the time. There's now a push to revoke the liquor license of Club Onyx after gunfire erupted, leaving 2 people injured. In a letter from the Cheshire Bridge Neighborhood Association obtained by 11 Alive, Atlanta Councilwoman Jennifer Ide is demanding the club's license be revoked. Atlanta police say someone fired at their club around 3:30 in the morning on Tuesday before more gunshots were fired outside. And that's when a security guard shot back. Police say 2 men were injured. At last check, they're in stable condition.
We're tracking a few of those isolated showers out there. And, you know, not everybody's getting rain, but the folks who are getting rain, some of that is heavy, and it does have some thunder and lightning with it. Here in Atlanta, we're okay inside the perimeter, but you can see over north areas north of I-20, also over to the east of us, and also a few showers out I-20 on the east side, and to the south of us have some showers. Nothing inside the perimeter right now. We're watching this shower here in Cobb County. This is really weakening. It had some thunder and lightning with it around Kennesaw earlier, weakening now as it drips on off to the west. And then these showers south of Rome, north of Cedartown, still have some thunder and lightning with that. Not classified as severe, just a good summertime downpour there with thunder and lightning. Also around Athens, from the downtown area to the north side into parts of Jackson County. That's going to drift over into parts of Barrow County in just a little while too. And on the south side, we'll watch a few of these showers too. Plenty of moisture around, the heating kind of bubbling up some of these isolated storms, and it'll diminish once we get into the evening hours tonight. Here's a live look. This is our tower cam here in Midtown. Looking down onto the downtown area, we have some clouds around, cumulus clouds trying to bubble up a little bit, but no rain here in the city. This is our view in Rome. You can see the streets right here are wet from the rain that came through a few minutes ago. And look at the dark clouds that are now generally to the south and east of the city there with some of that rain that's moving through. We'll talk more about our, increasing rain chances over the next couple of days. Plus, more information. We've got some new advisories that are being issued on that potential tropical system in the middle of the Atlantic. I'll show you the latest forecast track on it at the bottom of the hour.
All right, Chris, we'll see you then. On the verge of a dream fulfilled, going for gold. Up next, meet a local track coach who will compete for Team USA, hopefully in the upcoming Tokyo Olympics.
And if she clears the next bar.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Lives Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. stream live newscasts, and watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable, yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
In 23 days, a storied tradition begins: the Olympics, the world's best athletes competing for gold in 28 different sports. One of those sports, track and field, and there are so many disciplines within it. Of course, sprints, you've got distance, jumps, throws. An assistant track coach who qualified for the Olympics is going to learn in a matter of hours if Team USA plans to take her along to the games. Caitlin Ross joins us. Caitlin, you had a chance to talk to Nicole Green. She says she's qualified in high jump, but she didn't quite hit the standard height for the jump, so she's a little up in the air still.
Still up in the air. Nicole cleared a personal record of 6 feet 4 inches. That's way over my head. But the standard height for the Olympic trials is 6 feet 5 inches. She just missed it. She finished third in the Olympic trials, which should qualify her. She stood on the dais with the medal and the flowers. And if the Olympic Committee decides that's not enough, she says she's still proud of everything she's achieved.
I'm at peace with whatever decision they do make to take me or to not. But I would love to go and represent my country.
Nicole Green says she's still revved up from finishing third at Olympic trials.
You know how every middle schooler or elementary schooler says, like, oh, I want to be an astronaut or a cowboy or a superstar or like an Olympian. Like, that was what I thought of the Olympics.
She hit a personal record at the Olympic qualifier to get on the team.
6'4" has always been in the back of my mind. Like, that's the jump that I wanted to make because it will put you on a world stage.
And it did. She's come a long way with her coach from the University of North Carolina when they were invited to come coach the track team at Southwest DeKalb High School.
We came from a university that had all the bells and whistles. Southwest DeKalb just said, whatever we have, you're welcome to it, to try to make this dream come true.
Nicole Hudson was her high jump coach at UNC and is now the head coach for running at Southwest DeKalb High School. Green is her assistant coach.
As far as I'm concerned, Southwest DeKalb High School is an official Olympic training center.
What's incredible is that Nicole was able to train there and qualify for the Olympics. Nicole was also studying to take the MCAT. Besides being an Olympian, she wants to be a doctor.
Or whatever happens, tomorrow and the decision, doing both and getting the score I wanted on that test and then being able to get top 3 at trials, I couldn't ask for more.
Nicole has a lot up in the air right now. She's in the process of applying to medical schools, and if they decide to take her to Tokyo, she'll be writing her essays to apply to medical school while she's at the Olympics. That would be a pretty hard essay to beat. She's going to hear tomorrow morning whether or not she made the final cut to go to Japan.
She's an inspiration in so many ways. There is so much going through my head about med school and reaching this dream at the Olympics. And then the influence she has over all those young men and women at Southwest DeKalb. I love how they say it's like practically an Olympic training center now. What a great role model, right?
Exactly. And she says the message she wants to send to them is you don't have to choose. You don't have to be just great at the sport you play or just great at academics. You can be great at both. And gosh, is she just a living example of that.
All right, I'm crossing my fingers that we'll follow her all the way through the summer games. Caitlin Ross, thanks a lot. We have a lot more of 11 Alive News at 5 coming up next.
Because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. Stream live newscasts and watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable, yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
They come in every day with the same spirit, with the same professionalism.
You can see the passion that comes with their reporting.
Even delivering bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Lives Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News.
Tonight, the private health information of more than 40,000 people has been hacked. A fertility clinic here in Atlanta says it's been hit with a ransomware attack. Paula Soro spoke exclusively to two moms who have their information stolen.
Dear Ms. Flores, what happened? We're writing to inform you of a potential data breach event.
Two moms. We regret that this incident occurred. Holding the same letter states away. I don't know where we go from here. A letter from Reproductive Biology Associates, or RBA, and its affiliate My Egg Bank, stating that the protected health information of about 38,000 patients has been breached because of a ransomware attack. These moms say there are two of those affected.
They have my son's birth information, where I gave birth, his weight, all of our medical records, my issues and my husband's issues of why we had to go through IVF. We still have embryos that are frozen. That someone has that information in their hands, that's very scary.
The letter says the clinic is still investigating what personal information might have been impacted, but that it may include social security numbers, lab results, and information relating to the handling of human tissues.
One of the first things that you worry about is the confidentiality of the donor, in my case, the egg donor, and our family.
RBA says it first became aware of this incident April 16th, 9 days after it believes the attackers first got access, when a file server with embryology information was inaccessible.
And the part that really gets me is that they became aware of it on April 16th and just sent letters on June 15th.
RBA says it's working with a cybersecurity service provider to restore and update its systems. It's offering those affected a monitoring service free of charge and is encouraging the patients to notify their banks.
Well, the 11 Alive storm trackers are busy tracking some of these isolated showers that are moving through the area. Some of them have some heavy rain and thunder and lightning with them. We don't have anything inside the perimeter right now, but we do have a few of these isolated showers north and west of the city, also to the east of the city. Right now, Athens area and moving over into parts of Jackson County and Barrow County. That's where we have the strongest storm coming in right now. It's not classified as severe, but we do have some winds of 40 miles an hour, a lot of lightning with this, and also pockets of heavy rain. It's moving over toward the west, so it's moving right along 129, getting closer to Jefferson, may end up in Winder in a little bit. Athens, you had some heavy rain just a little while ago with thunder and lightning. Now that's crossing over from the Clark County line into Jackson County, also into Barrow. It's near Bogart as well, so just know that's the heaviest storm that we have out there right now. Nothing in the city here proper in Atlanta. We've been tracking this cell up in Cobb County that's falling apart. Some additional winds right on the Fulton, Cobb, and Cherokee County line, and then also in southern parts of Floyd County, south of Rome, over towards Cedartown there in northern Polk County. That cell is falling apart. It had some heavy rain and thunder and lightning with it too. Not a lot happening on the south side right now. A few showers out I-20 near Madison, but a few additional showers south of Macon over toward Milledgeville near Putnam County. We'll watch some of that moisture that'll be impacting the south side in just a little while as well. Plenty of moisture here in the southeast mixing in with that heating, and that's helping some of these showers to bubble up. Here's a live look. This is our tower cam in Cobb County right there at Truist Park looking toward the north. We saw some good rain shafts in the distance there from some of those storms earlier. Here's Athens, where we're still dealing with some of those showers that are coming down in the northern parts of Athens. Look at these temperatures. It got warm out there today. That helped to bubble up some of these storms. Right now it's 87 here in town. We got up to 89 for high. Cooled down to 81 in Athens with that rain-cooled air. We'll see temperatures falling into the 70s tonight. Just a chance for an isolated shower tomorrow. A 6 on the wasometer. We're going to see some more afternoon showers and storms redeveloping with highs near 87. Rain chance tomorrow at about 30 to 40%. You can see tonight most of the activity is going to be dying down, and then dry for the first part of the day tomorrow, late afternoon and mainly into the evening. Scattered showers developing. Friday is the day with the best chance for rain as a front moves through our area, and it's going to be pretty soggy here for Friday, but then that system moves out and it'll look a lot better into the weekend. Here's our next system we're watching in the Atlantic, still way out there. Could become a tropical storm later tonight. We'll watch it next week, potentially getting into the Gulf of Mexico too early to tell whether or not we would have any impacts here. So enjoy the forecast the next few days. It's going to be kind of soggy. Rainy conditions here on Friday, highs near 79, and then clearing on Saturday, high of 84. Sunday, 4th of July, looks great, a low of 63, high of 86. Lower rain chances Monday, going back up to 30 to 40% chance Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's a look at your weather wow moment for today from Nat Zachary in Brookhaven. Some of those clouds started kind of billowing up today with that heat and humidity bubbling up some of those cumulus clouds. Thanks, Natalie, for sending that to us. We'd love to see your weather wow moment. We get these a lot of times from our 11 Alive community storm trackers. You can be a part of that group on Facebook. Just search 11 Alive Storm Trackers. Ask to become a member, answer the membership questions, and you can be a part of our 11 Alive Community Storm Tracker group.
Good enough, Chris. Tonight we are getting a closer look at the areas in Metro Atlanta more prone to vaccine hesitancy. The Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluations at the University of Washington School of Medicine and COVID Collaborative, that's a mouthful, well, they are zoning in on zip codes. And it's a tool that has the potential to help reach the movable middle, or those who aren't yet vaccinated but have open minds. The visualization model shows estimates for more than 30,000 zip codes in the U.S. compared to just 3,000 counties. Looking at Georgia, zip codes with the least amount of hesitancy show up as dark blue. That includes Fulton and DeKalb counties. Places you see in dark red and orange have a higher percentage of people who are somewhat hesitant.
If we have this detailed information that even within a small area where there are greater pockets of reluctance to be vaccinated, then you can think of strategies that specifically target particular geographical areas or demographic subgroups.
Pretty cool tool. To see more about where you live compared to the rest of the country, go to the website on your screen right here. So jot it down. That's a lot as well. Vaccine-hesitancy.healthdata.org.
Yeah, so interesting to see the breakdown there. If you're like a lot of people, you still have some airline credits from canceled trips during the pandemic that may be about to expire. Now, 2 senators are asking the Department of Transportation to intervene. These Democratic senators want the DOT to determine if setting a date when those credits expire is unfair. Existing rules give the airlines a lot of leeway. They are only required to issue refunds when the airlines cancel flights. When passengers cancel, the airlines can issue refunds or credits, and many airlines opt for credits that expire after a certain period of time. The DOT has the authority to prohibit unfair or deceptive practices, which is the guideline the senators are asking officials to look at here. Earlier this year, American and United Airlines reported a combined $5.7 billion in outstanding credits. That comes after taxpayers provided more than $50 billion to airlines in that massive bailout over COVID. The Transportation Department has received more than 100,000 complaints connected just to refunds since the pandemic started.
Drive sober or get pulled over. That's the message coming from Governor Kemp and law enforcement officials tonight. They're warning Georgians against drinking and driving or boating this holiday weekend. According to AAA, more than 1.5 million Georgians are expected to travel for the July 4th weekend. And Georgia's Department of Natural Resources says it will be participating in Operation Dry Water. They want to make sure people on the state's waterways are driving sober as well. Governor Kemp says DUI deaths are preventable by making the right choice. He says law enforcement agencies will be out in full force to make sure everyone stays safe. Right now, the barricades are up in some parts of Midtown in preparation for the AJC Peachtree Road Race this weekend. Crews working on 10th and Piedmont near Henry's today. Don't forget, the race is happening Saturday and Sunday. So getting to the finish line is all about finding the strength to keep going, right? Even when you feel like you can't. Carrie McClure has done that time and time again in her personal life. And today she's bringing that lesson to Peachtree Road. 11 Alive's Christy Diaz has her story.
Everybody has a battle, but Carrie McClure has had more than most.
I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at age 40. About 4 years ago, I went in for an MS scan from head to toe, and they found out that I had stage 1A lung cancer. Never smoked. And then 2 years ago, I got diagnosed with discoid lupus, which only attacks the skin.
She fought them all fiercely. And then last July, the news that knocked her world on its side.
They said I had stage 4 cancer that had metastasized to the right ovary. So that was out of the battles, that's been the scariest for me, because I don't want to get upset, but they give me about 18 months to live. I'm about 10 months out right now, but the chemo is working.
And so is she. Carrie was a physical education teacher for 32 years, teaching in DeKalb and Gwinnett. Her lifestyle fit and active, and her spirit just as dynamic.
I really feel deep down I'm going to beat it.
Carrie, you could teach a master class in resilience. I mean, what's your secret?
Well, you know what, like I said, I've always been an active person. I've had my pity parties. It was really scary when I first got diagnosed, but I really try hard to go hard every day now, because, you know, my time, according to them, is limited.
So this year, the race just means more.
I don't want to say I want to do it one more time. I just want to do it as a challenge.
She can't run it. The chemo makes her hands and feet go numb. But she's determined to walk the 6.2 miles to the finish line.
And I feel like I can complete it. I'll just have to take my time.
Yes, she's doing it for herself, but she's also doing it for others.
And I'm hoping people would look at me like as a role model and going, well, God, she's got stage 4 cancer and blah, 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 and she's out walking 6 miles. I can do that.
Yeah, you sure are inspiring a whole lot of us tonight. Be sure to join us on July 4th for our live coverage of the AJC Peachtree Road Race starting at 5:30 a.m. right here on 11 Alive.
Today is the last day of Pride Month. Coming up, Reveal investigator Andy Perotti is sharing why he decided to come on TV and talk about it.
Show that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable, yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
They come in every day with the same spirit, with the same professionalism.
You can see the passion that comes with their reporting.
Even delivering the bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Alive's Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything. to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. Stream live newscasts and watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable, yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
They come in every day with the same spirit, with the same professionalism.
You can see the passion that comes with their reporting.
Even delivering the bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Alive's Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
We're staying on top of breaking news tonight. Right now, a number of Atlanta police officers are visiting one of their own at the hospital after he was shot in the face in the line of duty. That officer is in stable condition, able to talk to his family members and police. Police tell us he was shot around 1 this afternoon inside the Solace on Peachtree apartment building. That is in Midtown, right near the Fox Theater. Police telling us the injured officer and another officer had been responding to a shots fired call. They say as soon as the two stepped off the elevator on the 8th floor, they were ambushed by gunfire. Officers returned fire, shooting and killing a suspect. We are expecting an update from police on the officer's condition in about 15 minutes. As soon as it happens, we'll bring it to you live on air and online. Also, look for updates on the shooting throughout the night on 11alive.com. You'll also find witness video there and can watch the police briefings in full. Crash Clark, still some issues on the roads there in that Midtown area?
Yeah, very active rush hour, Sheba. In fact, I'll talk about that real quickly on that Peachtree scene. But right now, I want to talk about 85 northbound. We've got all lanes shut down on 85 northbound, just past Shallowford Road, a multi-car injury crash. Folks, if you're getting ready to leave the office, head out into Midtown. Do yourself a favor. Get over to Buford Highway. Use that as an alternate. Now we'll go ahead and get into Midtown, where we've been talking about the breaking news. Peachtree Street is remaining shut down between 5th Street and North Avenue. The downtown connector will give you some assistance, as will Peachtree, West Peachtree, Spring Street, Juniper. Anything you can do to avoid that area near the Fox Theater. And also a live look here showing 85 northbound, absolute gridlock trying to get out of Midtown.
Oh, gosh. All right. Crash, thank you. Today's the last day of Pride Month, and all month long we've been sharing different perspectives about how the city of Atlanta is making changes to try to be more inclusive.
Tonight, to close out the month, we've saved the best for last here. We're sharing a more personal account from 11 Alive Reveal investigator Andy Parati.
You guys ready? All right, let's go. Hi, I'm Andy. I'm a brother, a son, an uncle, a runner, an investigative reporter at 11 Alive News in Atlanta, and I happen to be gay. Last year, I produced a story about an archaic rule that prohibits most gay men from donating blood and plasma, even if they had the life-saving antibodies after recovering from COVID-19. For the first time in my career, I identified myself as gay in a story because I was one of the recovered COVID patients who was turned down after offering to donate my plasma. But when they learned I was also gay, they said that I couldn't participate. It was a fleeting moment in a story, but it was a big deal for me. I remember being so nervous. I texted my boss just to make sure it was okay, and she reassured me. Months later, I'm at the dentist's office, and right before I leave my dentist,
hi, I'm Dr. George Michaels.
He stopped me and he said, you know, I saw your story.
Well, you made an impression on me, and I saw a segment that you had. You came out saying that you were a gay man.
He said to me, in his 20 plus years living in Atlanta, he never heard a TV reporter recognize themselves as gay on TV.
It wasn't that long ago. I can remember that reporters or newscasters would get fired for being gay. And I just thanked him for doing what he did and basically being a role model that so many of us don't have or didn't have growing up. I know as a gay person how hard it is interacting in a straight world. And growing up, basically, I was not comfortable. You know, I didn't have a role model growing up. And if we could have more role models that, like me, or like you, Andy, the more the better.
That meant the world to me. It reminded me how important representation matters and made me feel so grateful that I work at a company that makes me feel safe to be me.
You never know who you're able to touch along the way, and we want to thank Andy for sharing his story with us here at 11 Alive and with all of you.
More breaking news now into our newsroom. College athletes can earn money for the use of their name, image, and likeness. That is the decision just handed down from the NCAA. The vote comes as several laws are set to take effect in several states that would allow for such compensation, including here in Georgia. Chris?
We're still keeping an eye on a few of those showers that have some heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. Right now, the strongest one is nearing 85 here in Jackson County. It already moved through Athens. It's now pushing through Jefferson into parts of Barrow County near Winder. Heavy rain, thunder, and lightning in association with that. Again, drifting up toward 85. Brazelton, Talmo, you'll get in on some of that in just a little while. Not much in Atlanta, but a few showers here on the north side with some pockets of heavier rain in some of these near Allatoona Lake and Cherokee County. These in West Georgia are falling apart a little bit, and some on the south side, these getting closer to Putnam County, coming out of Baldwin County and Hancock County, and then we'll see a few scattered showers here too. Another update on this potential tropical system that's going to be moving through the Atlantic and then through the Caribbean by next week. It is possible, it's not a guarantee, but it's possible this could end up near the Gulf of Mexico. Too early to tell specific impacts for us. We'll talk more about this though coming up at 6.
All right, Chris, still ahead here, we're sharing how a local program is helping homeless students succeed despite their challenges.
This tweet, shared more than 100 times, suggests people set their ceiling fans to spin counterclockwise for optimal cooling. But does that work? Let's verify. Our sources are the U.S. Department of Energy, Energy Star, and Home Depot. Both Energy Star and Home Depot agree. Spinning ceiling fans in a counterclockwise direction for a cooling effect in the summer works. So we can verify this as true. According to the DOE, this fan trick will allow you to raise the thermostat setting about 4 degrees Fahrenheit with no reduction in comfort. And that could save you money. Another hot tip? In the winter, make sure to revert your ceiling fan settings back to clockwise for a warming effect. With your Fast Fact, I'm Ariane Till.
Relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. Stream live newscasts and watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable, yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
They come in every day with the same spirit, with the same professionalism.
You can see the passion that comes with their reporting.
Even delivering bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Live's Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta.
Imagine being a child in school and homeless. That is the reality for thousands of students in Clayton County. Now a program built to help them succeed is expanding, and it's making state history in the process. Savannah Levins tells us what this program's all about.
Graduation is that moment.
The emotion I felt on that day was just amazing.
When hard work pays off.
Congratulations. Best moment I've ever felt in my life so far.
But for some students, the road to that moment is a steeper climb.
When I was first starting school, it was very hard.
Sophomore-ish year, we were kind of going like hotel to hotel. In that situation, you need a lot of support and uplifting people.
Enter Sonia Davis.
We identify about 2,000 homeless students a year. Our job is to make sure that we remove all barriers so they can get the same education that any other student does.
That's why she got Tariq, Desiree, and several other students connected with Orange Duffel Bag, or ODB, a nonprofit after-school program focused on life coaching.
It helped.
It helped get Desiree and Tariq here.
It really has made a difference.
And that led Clayton County Schools to become the first ever district to put a group of its own staff members through training to become certified ODB coaches to reach even more students.
Within the school environment, you don't learn life skills. That is what this program is all about.
An emotional graduation for the group this month as they prepare to coach dozens of new students come August.
I'm a Clayton County Public School product, so I know exactly what this county is dealing with.
This will save lives.
Deputy Superintendent Sandra Nunez hopes to expand the program in 2021 to eventually reach all of the district's 50,000 plus students.
This is just the beginning.
New beginnings.
Tariq Harris.
I want to finish college.
Desiree Greer.
Built.
I'm majoring in criminal justice.
From big dreams.
Coming up next at 6, police expected to give an update any minute now after an Atlanta officer was shot in the face while responding to a call. APD calling it an ambush on its officers. We'll have the very latest on how the injured officer is doing and the latest on the investigation coming up next.
Good evening. I'm Rodney Bryant, Chief of the City of Atlanta Police Department. I'm joined here by some of the members of the Atlanta Police Command staff and Fulton County Sheriff just to follow up on events earlier today. we had an officer-involved shooting where one of our officers sustained some injury. Another individual was killed in that shootout. That is still an ongoing investigation at this particular time. My purpose of having a conversation with you is just to give you an update on where we are with the officer. I just met with the officer and his family. Right now, the officer is stable. His family is with him and very concerned about where he is. We will continue to support his family as well as the officer that was with him at that particular time, at the time of the incident. I want us to be clear about the commitment of the men and women of the Atlanta Police Department. So often, I'm often asked, where have officers backed off from doing their jobs, doing their duty? Today shows that that has not happened. The men rushed into that facility recognizing that they were coming up on a dangerous situation. The commitment of the Atlanta Police Department and our partners should never be challenged because we are forever committed to serving the city that we love. With that, I'll open it up for any quick questions.
Can you describe the officer's injuries, and is he awake and talking?
The officer sustained an injury to the face. He is awake and speaking.
Will he require any surgery?
I would imagine so. I don't know. I'm not. That's something that you would have to ask the graded medical team.
Earlier it was said that 2 officers were brought here to the hospital. So the second one, what was his?
The second officer was involved in a traffic accident responding to the shooting incident. He's stable as well.
What can you tell us about the officer that was with the officer that got injured?
I'm on my way to meet with him right now. What I can tell you is from what I know of the incident, both of these officers are very heroic. I've been here on this police department now 32 plus years, and to see the extent of the events that played out today, it is without doubt that these are some of the most heroic people to respond to an incident in the city of Atlanta.
Can you tell us anything about what you said to that officer or what he said to you?
As you can imagine, he's really sedated, but he was coherent enough to recognize myself and the assistant chief, the sheriff, and the deputy chief who went in to visit with him. I told him how proud I was of him and his action. He said he understood. I told him that I was going to speak to his family, and he said he understood and was appreciative of that.
Any information on how long the officer's been with the department?
The officer's been on the department now just over 2 years.
Thank you. Are there any plans to release the identity of the suspect killed and the officer?
We will after we make sure that all of his family is aware, and as soon as we are able to identify the individual as well.
The suspect?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Appreciate you all.
The scene in Midtown Atlanta, where roads are still blocked right now and it is impassable, which of course in the middle of rush hour makes for a nightmare in this part of the world, certainly in Midtown.
It definitely does, Jeff. We can see a lot of congestion on the roads neighboring around where I'm standing. Where I'm standing is the corner of Ponce de Leon and Peachtree, running in front of the Fox Theater, and for about 4 or 5 blocks behind me, the roads are still closed. It's unclear at this point why the roads are still closed, because much of the active policing here on Peachtree has cleared out in the last half hour, 45 minutes. So it looks like this road might open up sometime relatively soon, but we have no confirmation of that yet. Earlier this afternoon, around 1 o'clock, is when all of this began. 2 Atlanta police officers were responding to a reported shooting on the 8th floor of the Solace on Peachtree Apartments. Atlanta police supervisors tell us when officers took the elevator to the 8th floor, and the elevator doors opened. A man immediately shot at officers, hitting one of them in the face. The officers shot back, killing that man. Investigators believe he is responsible for the original shooting that led police to the apartments. Now, as investigators piece together both the original shooting and the shooting involving officers, they're seeing if there are any other additional victims.
That's still under investigation. So we believe that there may have been some defense that hit some apartments. So again, we're still checking to make sure that no one else is injured inside the apartment complex.
In Atlanta, police have not yet identified the suspect killed by police. As far as the victim for the original shooting, we're told that person survived, is at the hospital, but no specifics around the events of that shooting have been released yet. For the time being, though, Atlanta police are asking anyone who is trying to drive home, leaving work, whatnot, to stay away from this area of Peachtree, as I said, from the corner of Ponce de Leon, where I'm standing, stretching for about 4 or 5 blocks, so down to 5th Street, so that there's no unnecessary traffic jams in this area. We'll send it back to you in studio.
Yeah, so right over Joe's left shoulder, if you're wondering exactly where he is, that's a Georgian Terrace hotel right there where they had the Gone with the Wind party in 1939, and the Fox, of course, is right across the street. All right, we want to continue our team coverage now, and close to the shooting scene in Midtown, John Chiric has been talking to witnesses. He has an update for us. John?
Many witnesses were still inside the building until late this afternoon as Atlanta police wrapped up their interviews with them, beginning to piece together exactly what might have led up to all of this. And many of the people here are frightened. The gunfire so loud, people several floors above and below the 8th floor could hear it. Then, a few minutes later, they looked out of their windows and saw Atlanta police officers running down Peachtree Street, carrying the wounded officer to safety. Because just then, no one was quite sure if there was a second gunman somewhere in the building. What they saw, many describe as unreal. Some ready to move out after all that gunfire in their building.
It kept repeating, so after a while you kind of noticed there was gunshots. Usually sometimes it'd be false alarms, but this time it was real.
I'm about to switch living here. Yeah, I'm not living down here no more. I'm not living in Midtown.
You move out?
Yeah, definitely move out.
Where can you go to escape all this?
Ducked off somewhere.
Police searched every floor of the building along with canines just to make sure there isn't a second suspect. A restless night ahead, no doubt, for many of the people here at Solace in Midtown Atlanta. Back to you.
Thank you, John Chiric, reporting in Midtown. Now to Brittany Klein. Peter, continuing our team coverage live at Grady. Brittany, we just heard Chief Rodney Bryant give an update that the officer has been shot in the face but is stable, talking to family. Brittany, seeing the officers come together outside the hospitals to support each other and the family, it's been an emotional evening for sure.
Emotions have really been the definition of what's going on out here, but the chief did tell us, like you said, Cheryl, that the officer is sedated but coherent, and the officer is doing okay. He spoke with him just before coming out here. He was actually in there about 30 minutes speaking when the officer came down here and told us the good news about that officer. But again, the emotion was really on display out here. We had officers across jurisdictions coming out here all afternoon. For the last several hours, that's kind of been the site out here. We saw deputies with the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, GBI, Georgia State Patrol, and even the DeKalb County Sheriff came out here today. Police vehicles really just lining the roadways surrounding the hospital's emergency entrance. But what was the most striking has been that bond between the Atlanta police officers. Officers were crying in each other's arms and others just holding one another. Across departments, officers really gathered in groups just consoling each other outside of the hospital today, and the unity among this department was really on display in a heartbreaking way. But again, as the chief said, the officer's condition is fine right now. He is coherent, but he is sedated.
All right, thanks a lot, Brittany. Look for updates on the shooting throughout the night on 11alive.com. You'll also find more sound from witnesses there and video they captured in the moments this was all playing out. We'll also stream the police briefings in full for you. He spent nearly 3 years behind bars, but tonight actor and comedian Bill Cosby is out of prison and back home after the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his sexual assault conviction. Joe Ripley explains how the decision came down to a technicality.
Famed comedian and actor Bill Cosby is walking free. A technicality of sorts got him out of prison. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania overturned his sexual assault conviction.
It only means that that first DA made a critical mistake in agreeing not to prosecute Cosby, and it's only fair that Cosby shouldn't be prosecuted when they told him they weren't going to do it.
Legal expert Paige Pate explains the court ruled that Cosby's due process rights were violated when he was charged and convicted. Cosby had made an agreement with previous prosecutors that he could not be charged the very case that landed him in prison.
It doesn't in any way mean that Bill Cosby did not commit the criminal acts he was charged with. It doesn't in any way undercut the credibility of the victims who came forward. This does not mean that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court doesn't believe them. Do you have any remorse?
In 2018, Cosby was sentenced to up to 10 years for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand at his home in 2004. Several other women have since accused the former actor of similar assaults. Now, Cosby cannot be tried again in the state of Pennsylvania.
When this happens to you, you know, you want to do something, but you're afraid to do anything because of the fear of disappointment.
Brenda Muhammad, a sexual assault victim advocate with Atlanta Victim Assistance, found the decision shocking and deflating. She hopes the overturned conviction doesn't prevent other assault victims from coming forward.
That adrenaline kept them going. They were determined. But now this is a slap in the face.
Former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld has died at the age of 88. His family says that he died in New Mexico surrounded by those that he loved. The Chicago native made history by becoming the youngest defense secretary under President Ford, and in 2001, Mr. Rumsfeld held that role again during the George W. Bush administration. He oversaw the Pentagon's response to the terrorist attacks on September 11th, directing a U.S. military attack on Afghanistan that led to the toppling of the Taliban. 2 years later, he oversaw the U.S. invasion of Iraq. Famous for his standing desk during that era, he was also a diminutive man, but a tough guy. He was a champion high school wrestler and in college as well. Initially, Mr. Rumsfeld earned praise for leading America's military into conflict, but later criticized as the nation grew war-weary of the Iraq War. He resigned as Secretary of Defense in 2006.
New at 6, questions tonight about whether former UGA football star Herschel Walker could run for U.S. Senate here in Georgia, even though he lives in Texas. Doug Richards is taking a closer look at what the Constitution says about it.
If he were to run for the U.S. Senate, Herschel Walker would have some advantages that most aspiring politicians could only dream of.
Well, he is a living legend.
That's Demetrius Douglas. Like Herschel Walker, Douglas played football at UGA. Unlike Walker, Douglas has won several elections to a seat as state representative from Stockbridge.
It's blocking and tackling, but it's at a different level.
Herschel Walker hasn't said he'll actually run for the U.S. Senate, but tweeted "Georgia on my mind" with this cryptic 21-second video, presumably from his home in Texas a few days ago.
And we can run with the big dogs.
Aside from his football fame, Walker's biggest boost could come from former President Donald Trump, who reportedly told a conservative radio show Tuesday he fully expects Walker to run for the Georgia Senate seat, to face Democrat Raphael Warnock, who doesn't want to talk about Walker.
I have no comment about that. I'm busy being Georgia's United States Senator.
And Douglas says he will support Warnock. One reason, the Democrat says, is because Herschel Walker lives in Texas.
So how can you be a voice for somebody when you don't live in the same state as the people that you represent?
The U.S. Constitution requires that senators, when elected, shall be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen, meaning there's no hurry for Walker to get a place in Georgia. I would like to ask Herschel Walker whether he's going to run for the Senate. You don't happen to have his phone number, do you?
I don't.
We didn't hear back from Walker's representatives. It's not just us. Many Republicans in Georgia would like to know if the legendary football star actually plans to run for the U.S. Senate next year.
I
Crime Review investigator Andy Perotti. Tonight, a former poster child employee for the Georgia Department of Corrections blows the whistle on what the state knew before a dangerous prison riot last year.
Hey, get him to the hospital, man.
You could hear explosions from inside. It's just a mob of people.
The day after the prison riot, Daniels resigned. A significant turnaround for a man who is one of the agency's poster child employees. His face used for recruiting.
Yeah, I'm actually literally on the billboard.
Tonight at 11 on 11 Alive, what we've learned about a possible federal investigation and why 3 former corrections officers say supervisors ignored their pleas for help for years leading up to the riot. That's tonight at 11 on 11 Alive.
A new social media challenge is promising clean white teeth using a household chemical. Next at 6, we verify if it's safe.
And watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh. You feel comfortable yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
They come in every day with the same spirit, with the same professionalism.
You can see the passion that comes with their reporting.
Even delivering bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Alive's Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. Stream live newscasts and watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh. You feel comfortable yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on the...
Welcome back to 11 Alive, where Atlanta speaks. Have a question you want answered? Text us at 404-885-7600.
Well, it's not the Tide Pod Challenge, but the latest social media trend now has been getting a flashback for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, it's putting a household chemical cleaner in your teeth. It probably seems like a bad idea. Is it medically dangerous? New at 6, we verify. It's a popular TikTok trend. Videos showing people using Mr. Clean magic erasers on their teeth to whiten them. You heard that right. They're putting the powerful household cleaner in their mouths. So is it safe to put a Mr. Clean magic eraser on your teeth? Let's verify. Our sources are Procter & Gamble, the company that produces Mr. Clean, the American Dental Association, 11 Alive medical expert Dr. Sujatha Reddy, and accredited cosmetic dentist Dr. Charlie Cooper.
I don't think it's a good idea to put any cleaning chemical in your mouth. I think that there are chemicals
that can be harmful.
According to the U.S. patent, the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser contains melamine, sulfurous acid, formaldehyde, and sodium. Procter & Gamble warns on the box, do not use on skin or other parts of the body. Dr. Cooper says the biggest concern is over two of the chemicals in the sponge, formaldehyde and sulfurous acid. Formaldehyde is commonly used as a preservative in the human embalming process used by funeral homes.
It changes the molecular level, and it basically has a negative effect on the bacteria that, as crazy as it sounds, eat the flesh.
And then there is the sulfurous acid.
Acid has a negative effect on the enamel portion of the tooth. The enamel is the outer shell, the hard outer shell. And the way acid attacks the enamel is by demineralizing it. And as you mentioned, once it's gone, it's gone. It sets up the teeth being a little bit more susceptible to attack from bacteria, which then leads to decay, as well as creating some sensitivities.
The American Dental Association says there are plenty of ways to whiten your teeth without resorting to dangerous and unscientific trends. So we can verify a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser may temporarily whiten your teeth, but it's likely to cause long-term damage and possible health complications from ingesting dangerous chemicals. Do you have something you'd like us to verify? Drop us an email or text verify to 404-885-7600.
I'm convinced we are doomed. That's the inner father in me speaking, Chris. We have rain in the forecast, and you are timing it out for us.
Yeah, and we're tracking some of those showers out there right now. There's nothing over Atlanta inside the perimeter, but we do have showers on the north side and to the east of us. This one that moved through Athens a little while ago, holding together pretty well as it moves over toward the west. It's moving through Barrow County, Jackson County. It's about to move into Hall County, at far northeastern Gwinnett, with some heavy rain, thunder, and lightning, 40-mile-an-hour winds here, and this may make it to Lake Lanier in just a little while. So if you know anybody on the lake, tell them to watch this storm, and they may want to get off the lake now because this does have some thunder and lightning in association with it, and that's that heaviest rain going over 85, about to cross over the line, getting closer to 985 too. We've got about 14 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes with this as it moves over toward the west. Some additional showers in North Fulton, North Cobb, Cherokee, around Allatoona Lake as well, moving over into Bartow County. That's going to be crossing over 75. Isolated showers in Paulding, also on the Georgia and Alabama line. Here's a closer look at some of these showers near Woodstock along 575. Those in West Georgia falling apart. And then on the south side, keeping an eye on some of these showers, we've got some over there into the southern end of Lake Oconee with thunder and lightning not too far off from the Eatonton area as well. Over the next 12 hours, we're going to see temperatures falling from the 80s into the 70s. Not much in the form of rain here. We'll lose those showers once we lose some of that afternoon heating. Here's a live look. Circle 75 Office Park. You can see some of those dark clouds, and then this is our view in Athens. Yeah, as it's looking over toward those storms that are exiting Clark County, moving through Jackson and Barrow County as well. Here's a look at what we're watching with our whizometer during the day tomorrow. We're going to go with the 6, a low of 71, a high of 87. We'll see some of those afternoon showers redeveloping again tomorrow, and especially into the evening hours. Here's the forecast track. You can see any activity out there now is going to be diminishing, and in the morning it'll be dry. Lunchtime still dry. In the afternoon, just a few spotty showers around. Rain chances, though, increasing in the evening tomorrow. And then on Friday, we've got a front that's going to move through. That's going to be the day with the highest rain chances, especially early in the day, and then tapering off later on. And it looks like this front is going to pass through, and that will give us a much nicer weather conditions heading into the weekend. We're also watching this, our next potential tropical system, most likely becoming Tropical Storm Elsa, moving into the Caribbean this weekend. Next week, we'll watch that if it stays on this track and moves into the Gulf of Mexico, but the models are showing some varying possibilities with it, so we'll keep you posted on it. Too early to tell whether it will have any impact on us. 40% chance for showers tomorrow, especially later in the day. 80% chance on Friday. Then that system moves to the south. It'll dry us out, cool us off a little bit just in time for the long holiday weekend. Then we'll introduce some rain chances again for the beginning and middle of next week.
News weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs, Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. Stream live newscasts and watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
They come in every day with the same spirit, with the same professionalism.
You can see the passion that comes with their reporting.
Even delivering the bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Alive's Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Atlanta by 22. And the series is tied at 2 games apiece.
Knock if you buck. Knock if you buck.
Mr. O'Neill celebrating, and now get the Krispy Kreme back for us on Ponce, Shaq, okay? The rest of Atlanta celebrating an unbelievable win for the Hawks last night. They won by 22 over the Bucks, and they did it without Trae Young. Who would have thought that would happen? No word on whether Mr. Young will go in Game 5 tomorrow in Milwaukee. But Nate McMillan says the team will go about planning as it normally would.
All of a sudden, we got to bump guys up, move guys around. It really, challenged you to come up with a rotation that they can be productive with the lineup that they're playing with out on the floor.
The injuries continued in Game 4. We saw what happened to Giannis. The Bucks superstar landed strangely on his knee and then left the game. The Bucks say he has a hyperextended knee. He is listed as doubtful for Game 5.
Giannis is going to do everything he can to be available, and we're going to put his health and safety first, and together make good decisions.
Atlanta Dream Guard Courtney Williams named a WNBA All-Star today. It's her first All-Star appearance. Congratulations to her. We'll take a break. We're back right after this.
Delivering the bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Alive's Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. Stream live newscasts and watch on demand. 11 Alive News. Stream now on Roku.
Crash is definitely the funniest.
He makes it enjoyable as far as the traffic, be it good or bad.
He just feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable, yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
They come in every day with the same spirit, with the same professionalism.
You can see the passion that comes with their reporting.
Even delivering bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Lives Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Friend.
An assistant track coach at Southwest DeKalb High School just qualified for the Olympics. Nicole Green cleared 6 feet 4 inches in the high jump, came in third at the trials. That means she automatically makes the team, but she missed the Olympic standard by 1 inch, so she's still waiting for the official green light. She says no matter what, she's proud.
You know how every middle schooler or elementary schooler says, like, oh, I want to be an astronaut or a cowboy or a superstar or like an Olympian. Like, that was what I thought of the Olympics.
If Nicole ends up going to Tokyo, she'll be filling out med school applications while she's there as she trained for the Olympics and coached at DeKalb. She's been studying to take her medical school entrance exam. So in addition to being an Olympian, she has high goals of being a doctor. What a great role model for all the kids that she coaches. We can't wait to follow much more on her story. Thanks for watching. You can find more anytime on 11alive.com. NBC Nightly News is coming up next. We hope you have a great night.
Feels like your Uncle Joe that's on the show, that's out there to make everybody laugh and feel comfortable, yet bring important traffic reports.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11 Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11 Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Dodge.
They come in every day with the same spirit, with the same professionalism.
You can see the passion that comes with their reporting.
Even delivering bad news is just a great environment that they're presenting to us.
How can you really tell whether a viral story is true or false? 11 Lives Verify breaks down the claims with facts and experts so you can know whether you're seeing truth or misinformation. Watch Verify only on 11 Alive News.
Morning news is just a little bit of everything to give everyone what they need to start their day. Chesley does a fantastic job of making it relatable and making it digestible. Crash with Traffic makes it so interesting, and I love his energy. Francesca is so smart and brilliant, and I love the way she researches stories. You're always going to get the most accurate information.
Watch Aisha, Francesca, Chesley, and Crash on the 11 Alive Morning News, weekdays 5 to 7.
Chesley, I just think that he's a great weather guy. He really knows what he's doing.
I love the weather because Chesley has been absolutely fabulous.
I like the way that Chesley will take the time to explain something, and I feel like I'm sitting in his classroom.
The Locked On Podcast is your new place to keep up with your team every day. Falcons, Hawks, Braves, Bulldogs. Expert analysis on Atlanta and SEC sports. Listen and subscribe at 11alive.com/lockedon.
News happens fast. Stream it faster. 11 Alive News is now on Roku. Stream live newscasts and watch on demand. 11 Alive.